National Geographic published this book, 100 Slopes of a Lifetime. I'm going to be able to ski some of them this season, so let's take a look and you decide whether or not they're worthy of this list. The first slope is Lake Run at Portillo, Chile, a couple hours outside of Santiago. It's actually outside of the ski area boundary, but is an official slope. Portillo is famous for the Laguna del Inca, a pristine lake that reflects the mountains. And Lake Run is the only slope that lets you ski straight down to it, but not all the way. At the end, you have to take a traverse left back towards the resort. To access Lake Run, you take the Condor Va-et-Vient lift, which is a 4-person button lift that slings you up the mountain. From there, you head left and exit the ski area boundary through a gate. So once you go through the boundary, you just head right down the slope here, and you want to veer over to the right, and that's where you'll find Lake Run. And here's a special surprise. You're not going to have to suffer watching me ski. It's going to be my buddy Jack. I'm going to film him, and that'll be a good break for everybody. The snow is actually kind of a mix between slushy and hard crusty. It would be a perfect run on a nice powder day for sure. Since I'm the one filming, Jack is best to give you his impressions as he was skiing it.
The snow was nothing to write home for sure, and made it very tricky. Just the heavy snow like that is, even up top, can be, the frosty stuff can take your knee the wrong way and end your day. So, but I would definitely come back and do it again. It's probably the best view I've ever had skiing. Beating epic views like Tahoe and Jackson Hole and places like that. This is just incredible. So I'd give the overall run, I mean, it's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I could see how it would be just incredible in incredible conditions.
All right, that was the fun part of the slope. Now comes the second half, the work. So the question is, was the fun part worth what we're about to do now?
It was dangerous in places. The ground underneath is very dry. You've got just rock. There's very little vegetation. So I could see how rock slides could be certainly possible, caused by people walking across that.
So I guess if you're a boarder, you're going to have to walk this whole thing. I don't see how you could do this with a board. This next slope should be tricky, at least for me, because I've only had 3 hours of sleep. I'm at Crystal Mountain, Washington. Came in last night, met up with some friends. It was late for me because I came from the East Coast, but I'm here. It's Powder Bowl, a double black slope that the book says is great to ski when there's fresh powder. Unfortunately for me, it's spring right now. Nice sunny day, snow's not going to be powder, but I want to at least do the slope and show you what it's like. One interesting thing is that the book says the slope is in the shade, and today it seems to be in the pure sun. I'm not sure how they got that wrong. They also say it's great to do it on a powder day because the winds tend to blow snow over into Powder Bowl, so you get even more snow. Again, today that may not help me because it's just a nice sunny spring skiing day, but what can you do? Powder Bowl is off the number 6 chairlift. You just head up it and go off to the right. It looks kind of like you're going off of a cliff. If you look over to the left, you have a great view of Mount Rainier. As I ski the Powder Bowl and there's no fresh powder, I start to realize that this slope probably made National Geographic's list when it had fresh powder on it. That's why it's called the Powder Bowl. But the snow is actually pretty good. It's nice and soft, very easy to turn in. I can't imagine what it would be like if you've got tons of fresh powder. an awesome slope, steep, great snow when I skied it, but it doesn't take you into Italy for the afternoon. It's not a World Cup downhill run. It's not the longest slope in North America. The allure is really when this slope has powder on it. That's what makes it special. Without that, as you can see, it's a great slope, steep, great snow when I skied it, but you wouldn't think that this was one of the 100 slopes of a lifetime in the world on the day that I skied it. I'm about to ski down inside of a volcano crater. That's what you can do at Mount Bachelor, Oregon. To get to the slope, you have to take the Summit Express chairlift, which I learned from locals is often closed due to wind or other weather conditions. So if you want to ensure that you're able to ski or board the crater, make sure you're at Bachelor on multiple days to increase the chance that the Summit Express chairlift will be open. And when it's open, you can get quite a line. When you get off the chairlift, if you want the full experience, you need to hike up a bit to enter the crater from the top. Alternatively, you can simply traverse across and enter a bit lower. I wanted the full experience, or at least close to it. I took a line that didn't require the full hike because honestly, I thought I could do the full hike the next day, which was wrong because the Summit Express was closed due to wind the next day. But it was awesome. There were some nice steeps and they were all wide open. Honestly, it has the feel of a bowl, so if you didn't know that you were in a volcano crater, you might never suspect it, but you do know, and that makes it cool. After the initial steeps, it levels out a bit, so you need to gain enough speed to exit the crater and continue down.
I'm your mirror. I can feel you gazing deep into the night sky.
It's definitely a slope that I think is rightfully on this list because it's so unique. The next slope is in Italy, Gran Risa. It's in Superski Dolomiti. Superski Dolomiti is huge. It's the second largest ski and snowboard resort in the world. So if you come here and want to tackle this slope, you need to get to the Alta Badia area. Depending on where you stay, if you're in Val Gardenia like we are, or in Cortina, it could be a 45-minute drive if you want to drive to get there more quickly, or if you ski or board there, it could take half a day. The story behind Gran Risa is that 30 years before the Alta Badia ski resort opened, loggers who were harvesting fallen trees for building materials and for heating during the winter cut a narrow path down the mountain to send all the logs down to the base. That path is now the Gran Risa slope. It's so long and steep that the World Cup sometimes uses it for downhill races. The book recommends tackling this slope in the morning. I didn't get there until late morning and it was really crowded. So I think crowds are part of the reason. There are a lot of people of all abilities who want to say they've skied or boarded Gran Risa. And if you're on the slope when they are, you have to avoid them. People tend not to get over there first thing in the morning, so that may be your best opportunity to be relatively alone. But another reason to go early is that the slope is very steep in certain parts, which means that snow gets scraped off pretty quickly, often revealing what I had to deal with on the whole slope: ice. Realistically, this may happen year-round with Gran Risa since it's so steep. You may want to have your edges freshly sharpened. If you can ski or board it when it's snowing, you may have an ideal experience. Gran Risa seems to be in the shade most of the day, so when there's flat light, it may be even more challenging. They really do a nice job of making you feel like you're on a World Cup race course, with the protective padding at certain points, and even a start gate that you can go into that beeps just like during a real race. And one of the cool things if you want to tackle the Gran Risa slope is that you need to come to Italy. The food, the culture, the views. It's a great excuse to come to Italy. It's a fairly long slope, So when you get to the end, you definitely feel like you've descended a large amount of vertical more quickly than you would on an average slope.
Chasing a dream. What you do, don't let go. Chasing a dream.